Pasquino, talking statue of Rome. Among Rome's more colorful stories are the talking statues. The most famous is Pasquino, whose fame came and grew between the 16th and the 19th centuries. The statue is what remains of a work from the 3rd century BC that once decorated the stadium of Domitian. The statue's face was damaged and it had neither arms nor legs. It is difficult to tell who the subject is. Most likely it is a hero from ancient Greece, Melanus, Ajax, or Hercules. Discovered in 1501 during roadwork and the renovation of a statue known as Palazzo Braschi in the very same Piazza where it still stands today. Formerly the Piazza di Paona and now the Piazza Pasquino, Cardinal Carafa was in charge of the renovations. He insisted the statue be saved even though many people felt it had little value. But why was the statue called Pasquino? According to different stories, the name may have come from a craftsman in the district who was particularly good at composing satirical verses. Others suggest that it was perhaps named after a headmaster from a nearby school whose students thought bore a striking resemblance to the statue, and so they attached those first ridiculing verses, and it is not to be excluded that the name was inspired by a character from a Boccaccio short story. Yet it was a series of coincidences that caused this insignificant statue to become so popular and yet so hated. Rome already had an active practice of attributing the general population's discontent to statues. During the night, notes with satirical verses attacking the most well-known public figures would be hung around the necks of statues in the busiest parts of town, so that in the morning they could be seen and read by everyone before being removed by guards. These stinging insults came to be called pasquente, taking the name of the statue that best demonstrated the people's discontent about corruption and abuses of power. But that's not all. These same powerful people often use the Pasquino to spread slander against their political opponents, with the authors naturally being well compensated. In this way, papal elections were fought with Pasquinate that aimed to curry favor with the populace. This method of spreading insults and propaganda spread quickly throughout the rest of Italy. In Venice, by the way of Hunchback of the Rialto, to Florence with its famous Piglet, and the Loggia del Mercato Nuovo. Bombarded with satire, the most prominent figures quickly began to detest the statue and its rhymes. Being the most heavily targeted, the popes began to think of ways to get rid of the statue. The controversial pope, Hadrian VI, tried to throw the statue in the Tiber but was stopped by his cardinals, who warned him about the possibility of the Roman populace retaliating with even stronger blasts of satire. Then Pope Sixtus V and Pope Clement VIII both tried to get rid of the statue without success. When Benedetto VIII decided to install a night watchman to guard the statue, the Pasquinate multiplied so exponentially that the Pope issued an edict threatening death, incarnation, and branding for anyone caught posting rhymes. Although there were many victims, it was not enough to silence the rhymes, which were particularly critical of the Pope's prostitution and luxury. Over time, then Pasquino became a powerful critic of papal court excesses. The insults tapered off only when the temporal power of the papacy ended with the breach of Porta Pia. Pasquino spoke less often, but when Hitler visited Rome during the fascist period, there was harsh criticism about the enormous cost of the pompous events thrown for the Nazi dictator. Even today, the statue doesn't fail to express itself in a stinging manner despite repeated attempts to silence it.